All this story would start in the battle against the powerful Gas Warrior. Even the Z Warriors were defeated, so Goku and Vegeta and their respective doctrines tried to do something against him, but it was impossible for them. However, when everything seemed lost, the evil Emperor Frieza had arrived at the battlefield, leaving all the warriors present surprised, because in his last form, he released an amazing power without having transformed.
Ho ho ho! Who would say that you, the most powerful Saiyan of all the universes, would be in such a pathetic condition? But don't worry, your savior has arrived.
Frieza would start walking towards Gas, who, a little annoyed, had been throwing himself against him. However, Frieza, with a little difficulty, was able to dodge each of his blows. So at the moment, Frieza had connected a big blow with his tail.
You really are a powerful warrior, but it won't be enough for my true power, so you better be prepared.
Frieza would begin to increase his power in an incredible way. So much was his power that, on this occasion, even the entire Universe 6, 7, and 8 trembled because of all the power of Frieza.
Whose power is this? I can't believe. It's neither Goku's nor Vegeta's, but the power they're unleashing is compared to the power of a god of destruction of the highest level.
Mr. Beerus, it will go better to investigate since we don't know who is the warrior that is releasing all that power. Both deities began to head towards where all the great power was released. However, the gods of Universes 6 and 8 were also very surprised, since it was something unreal that the power of a warrior is able to be felt in another universe.
The power he feels is incredible. Even this is for sure he's able to defeat Beerus, considering the most powerful god.
Returning to the Baya field, Frieza had completed his transformation. So at the moment, Frieza would be seen in his new transformation. That's right, the Emperor had ascended to his state of Black Frieza. So the power that emanated was incredible.
Ho ho ho! I apologize for the delay, but I'm not used to using all my power. But I'll end your life in the next 15 seconds.
Furious Gas had been launched against Frieza, but the evil Emperor had an overwhelming speed, was able to move towards Gas, and with a powerful blow to his abdomen, he was able to completely cross it, an act that would leave Goku and Vegeta surprised.
I can't believe the power Frieza possesses this time. Even he would be able to end our lives. I'm not gonna let that damn insect be more powerful than me, the Prince of the Saiyans.
Frieza at the moment was able to end the life of Gas with incredible ease, because Frieza's power had been increased in an amazing way. So at the moment, Goku and Vegeta, without a few words, had launched themselves against Frieza. However, Frieza, with a much faster reaction speed, was able to leave Goku and Vegeta in terrible conditions, losing their doctrines.
Ho ho ho! Be thankful that today I don't want to end your lives, because I have some excellent plans for you.
Vegeta would instantly leave the place, so the other warriors were able to help recover Goku and Vegeta. But at the moment, the Prince of the Saiyans would expel all his power because he couldn't stand the humiliation by the Emperor of Evil.
I don't care what kind of training you've received. I swear I'll end your pathetic life. I'll strive, and I want your reward head.
But Vegeta, this is impossible for us right now, since he was even able to end the life of Gas, a warrior who even defeated us completely. However, at the top of all the 12 universes, Daishinkan had observed everything that happened in Universe 7.
The power of the Saiyans of Universe 7 has grown in an incredible way, but they don't compare with the power of that demon.
But from the whole realm of the All, the gigantic power that was able to make all the 12 universes shudder would be released, since the Zeno-sama of the future would begin to have strong headaches. Because in all his interior, his mind, divine vein, even his spiritual sea was completely corrupted by the negative energy of the future. But the Zeno-sama of the present was trying to help him. It was the worst mistake he made, because by touching him, he would begin to be part of the Zeno-sama of the future.
Finally, I've been able to master the power of this damn dwarf. After millions of years, I've been able to become the king of the whole.
Daishinkan would quickly enter the room, where the king was completely realizing that both guardians were on the floor completely annihilated.
Who are you, and where have you been able to control the body of the great Zeno?
Ha! I'll have you know that all your answers will be able to beat my guardians.
It's a pity, apparently, by controlling the body of the great Zeno-sama, your body, even your mind has been affected, as both guardians were annihilated by you.
but Daishinkan was surprised noticing how hundreds of shadows rose from the ground itself, as if they were summoned from the underworld itself.
What the hell's going on? Have you been able to bring them back to life with that disgusting negative energy?
Both Guardians, despite not having changed in anything physically, the energy they gave off was of pure revenge and stench of blood. The Battle of the Trio of Warriors would be perceived by all 12 universes, because the power they released was able to spread through each of the universes. My brothers, our fathers fighting the Guardians of the great Zeno-sama, but even if they have the same appearance, their energies of pure evil.
That's right. We'll have to do something. Doesn't matter that even if we fall on the battlefield, we'll have lived for millions of years.
The angels of each of the 12 universes were preparing for that great battle. However, Daishinkan would communicate with Whis, the Supreme Angel.
Whis, I appreciate your support right now, but no matter what we do, we will be defeated. But I want you to, in the angelic dimension, to send 4 warriors.
But Father, among the 12 angels next to you, we can defeat the Guardians until the King of the All returns.
That's the problem, Whis. Zeno-sama's been completely manipulated, and we won't be able to do anything against him.
Whis was surprised by Daishinkan's clarification, but would be put out of his thoughts by Daishinkan's words.
Whis, I want you to send that dimension to the Saiyans, Goku, Vegeta, Broly, and Gohan. They will be in charge of ending this manipulated Zeno-sama.
Father, I understand that those Saiyans are the most powerful, but I really doubt that they're able to get out of that dimension, since only you, an angel-ranked Celestial Emperor, was able to get out. And despite that, you suffered great damage.
That's right, I suffered great damage, but I was able to get all this amazing power. Whis, I trust you, and I know you will. I say goodbye, and when you finish, I want you to erase your memory and that of each angel, so that you're not affected by this new regime.
Whis quickly, with his maximum speed, would leave towards the planet Earth, quickly taking Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan without warning them absolutely anything. And at a great speed, he headed to the planet where Broly was.
Whis, what's the matter? I don't know why, but I see you're terrified. Are these due to the tremors that were felt in the 12 universes?
There's no time, but you will be sent to a dimension very similar to that of the Time Room, but with extreme measures, because otherwise we'll all die. Whis, please explain what's happening. But through the space of Universe 7, the great battle would be present. That's right, the battle had expanded to each of the 12 universes. Daishinkan had received a great blow by the Guardians falling to the side of the planet where they were. Wow, but if it's Daishinkan-sama, I can't believe he was sent to that planet with that power. Who's his opponent? But at the top of the entire planet, it was impossible to receive both Guardians, which on this occasion were charging a powerful combined attack to be able to end the life of Daishinkan.
Whis, make it quick. I won't take long. Saiyans, I trust that you'll be able to take revenge on us.
In short words, the King of the All has been manipulated by the negative entity, and he will wipe out the entire divine world. My father and I trust in his unlimited power, so we will sacrifice for you. A powerful attack would be observed all over the place while it was speeding towards them, so Whis would quickly use his staff, creating a large staff all over his place, and being able to send the 4 warriors that dimension. Meanwhile, Daishinkan, with the last reserves of energy, was able to teleport Whis to safety.
I would die, but I'm sure of the potential of those warriors, so their reign will not last long.
The powerful attack would create a great explosion, with which on this occasion, it would be completely disintegrated. That's right, one of the most powerful beings had fallen before the command of the new King of All. Whis, when he arrived at that place, would respect the last will of his father, so a great mental power would be spread by all the angels and gods. Brain destruction! Whis' powerful mental attack was able to erase the memory of each of the angels and gods in the last 24 hours. Just like Whis, he would use the same technique on himself. Meanwhile, both Guardians would return to the Kingdom of Everything, while Zeno-sama would have a big smile on his face. Ha 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 ha! The damn Daishinkan has finally fallen, but I still want him from Guardian. But he will be the new Guardian of Destruction. Zeno-sama would again use his great shadow technique, from which Daishinkan would resurface, but the essence that emanated was much more evil than that of the Guardians.
My mighty king, I thank you for giving me one more chance. This time I will do what you ask. We will finish with all these insects.
I like much of the personality you have now, but it's not time to finish with these miserable. First, I want to finish with the Saiyan of Universe 7.
Understood. On this occasion, I will finish with those damned. But I will give the order to each of the gods and angels to look for them.
Daishinkan would inform the request of the great Zeno-sama, so the gods and angels at the great speed began to search for the Saiyans. But it would be useless. They were no longer able to find them. Meanwhile, in the angelic dimension, the warriors had arrived, but the place, despite looking like the Room of Time, gravity was increased millions of times more. Damn, I'm not able to move, but I can't believe that Zeno-sama's been manipulated. We have to become much more powerful.
Well, I don't still understand what happened, but this time I plan my legendary status to be able to help this great battle.
Damn worm has been able to be manipulated, but it doesn't matter. Because when I get out of this damn place, I'll be able to wipe out all those insects, including Frieza's damned one. Gohan's power was beginning to rise in an amazing way, as he would remember his wife and daughter. The power that Gohan was expelling was an incredible power, so much so that even the trio of warriors were surprised. Instantly, all of Gohan's hair would grow a little, while it would turn a white color. What happened? Gohan, are you feeling alright? Where have you been able to expel all that great power from? Gohan would answer absolutely nothing, but at the moment, he would fall out of combat, which left all the other warriors surprised. No matter what we do, we have to be able to master all this gravity and take down every one of the warriors behind this.
I agree with you, Kakarot. On this occasion, we'll be the resistance of all the 12 universes.
The trio of warriors began to train despite the fact that gravity didn't allow even to move freely. While Gohan was still out of combat, returning to the Kingdom of All, Daishinkan is upset since they weren't able to find the whereabouts of those Saiyans.
Damn, I feel like I've forgotten something very important, but I'm not able to remember. These miserable worms that you can't find. Those garbage.
Daishinkan, have you found the Saiyans from Universe 7?
Unfortunately not, my lord, but all the gods and angels are in search of each of these warriors.
Understood, because they are the only warriors capable of doing something against me.
The entire Divine Kingdom was made a real chaos, because even the Great Priest with his great sensory power was not able to locate the Saiyans of Universe 7. However, this was the plan of the original Daishinkan from the beginning.
If that damn imposter is able to manipulate me in the same way, I don't have to let the Saiyans be discovered, and I'm sure he won't be able to search the angelic dimension.
That's right, the Daishinkan's plan had turned out to be a complete success, because no being had given himself the time to search in the angelic dimension. Instantly, Zeno-sama would leave his great palace, releasing an amazing power with which he would instantly create several disasters in the 12 universes, because he was not able to control his fury. Daishinkan, I don't think they'll be able to find a few good-for-nothing mere mortals. This has to be a joke on their part.
I ask for an apology, my lord, but we really haven't been able to find those Saiyans. But right now, I'll send the deities of Universe 7 to planet Earth.
Daishinkan, with a great mental sling, would communicate with the deities of the Universe 7.
I want you to communicate with the warriors of planet Earth, and find any clues that are capable of leading us to the whereabouts of the Saiyans.
As you order, Father, so it shall be. Hey, Whis, don't you think that Daishinkan's acting very strange? Even Zeno-sama's released his power with which he destroyed multiple planets of Universe 12. That's right, Mr. Beerus. I've thought about the same thing, but we don't have any proof that something happened to them, so now we'll just have to look for Mr. Goku and Vegeta, who are the most important. Both deities were about to head to the planet Earth at high speed, so when they arrived, they had headed towards Bulma's house, which had greeted him with a worried look. Mr. Beerus, Mr. Whis, I hope everything's fine. Please, can you explain to me where Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan had been taken? It's been days, and we don't know anything about their whereabouts. Both deities were shocked to absolutely not remember anything that Bulma was telling them. Miss Bulma, can you explain to me what you just said, please? Since Mr. Beerus and I haven't come to planet Earth in several months. You're wrong, Mr. Whis. You guys came about 5 days ago, looking for the Saiyans, and you had a look of panic. Mrs. Bulma, you can allow me to see your memories, please? I'm sorry for the inconvenience in advance. I really don't know what's going on. Bulma would allow Whis to inspect her memories, which left him surprised because really, he along with Mr. Beerus was in search of the Saiyans. But in this time, it was for something very bad that had happened with the Great Priest. Miss Bulma might ask for an apology, but I don't really know what it was that happened with the Saiyans. But I really don't have a clear answer. But no, don't worry, in that moment, Mr. Beerus, together with me, will investigate. Mr. Beerus, it's time to leave for the center of the universe and the stage of the 12 universes. Actually, what Bulma has said's real. In that case... Whis would interrupt Beerus. That's right, Mr. Beerus. Apparently they have been used a very powerful technique on us angels that we are not able to remember what happened. In that case, we'll have to go find the warrior capable of even erasing the memory of an angel. So let's go immediately, Whis. Both deities would begin to head at a great speed towards the center of the universe, which on this occasion would be taking a long time. Meanwhile, in the angelic dimension, the Saiyan warriors were training with all their enthusiasm. Damn! I'm not able to overcome the power of Ultra Instinct. I'm sure there are scales of power beyond Ultra Instinct. I agree with you, damn insect, but I'm not gonna forgive that damn dwarf. I'm sure they already ended the life of the entire planet Earth.
I doubt it was just the planet Earth. I'm sure that they'd wipe out the entire Universe 7 in case they find us, or not find us, since that miserable dwarf is only looking for total destruction, according to what I've noticed.
I'm sorry for the last time. I haven't been able to access that power again, but I'm not gonna give up, so we have to become much more powerful. In that case, I'll be better to train in duos. I'll train with Vegeta and you train together.
No, Kakarot. Gohan and Broly are not able to control their powers. If they both train together, they'll end up ending their lives. I'll train with Gohan's worm while you train with Broly.
Okay, so let's start with the training to be the first existing warriors to get out of this damn dimension.
The training of all the warriors would begin on the part of Goku and Broly. Both warriors began with a meditation training, in which Broly was able to control the legendary state of Super Saiyan, while Goku tried to break his limits in the Ultra Instinct, as well as his internal energy was able to enlarge his energy veins. We have to be able to have the necessary power to crack this dimension, and I'm sure with Broly's legendary power, it could be combined with the Divine Key. On the other hand, in Vegeta's training, together with Gohan, both warriors on this occasion began to fight, since from Vegeta's perspective, there was no better training than battles that generated wounds to death.
That's nothing. I hope that you use all your power. Think of me as the enemy that you have to end, even if it costs your life.
It's okay, Mr. Vegeta. I want to become very powerful.
Both Saiyans began with their great battle, in which Vegeta had absolutely the advantage. In the battle, however, no matter how powerful Vegeta's blows are, Gohan didn't fall to the ground. Vegeta, while exchanging blows, would say,
"This really is the warrior of a Saiyan race. He doesn't give up so easily. That fills me with pride."
Returning to the center of the universe, the deities had arrived at the stage of 12 universes. However, such beings are of an important subject. They had to inform of their arrival. But being the deities of the 7th universe, they were able to advance without any problem. So they arrived face to face with the powerful sage.
"Oh, so it's a surprise to have the god Beerus of this universe. Tell me, what can I help you with?"
"I want to know if our memory's really been erased in these last 10 days. The wise man would close his eyes, while at the moment hundreds of golden threads were scattered all over the Universe 7.
"Indeed, Mr. Beerus. About 6 days ago, you have lost your memory. I don't know exactly how long, but you have lost it."
In that case, can you inform us with which technique or who the warrior capable of making even I, the most powerful angel capable of losing my memory?
That is a very easy question to answer, since the only warrior to be able to do something like that is yourself, as you are hearing.
Beerus and Whis were shocked, as they were not understanding anything that they were being informed about.
I hope I misunderstood, but you're given to imply that Whis, my own guardian angel, the memory has been deleted to him in my memory.
On that point, you are mistaken, Mr. Beerus. The powerful guardian angel Whis has deleted the memories of the 12 gods and 12 guardian angels.
The wonder of the deities had grown much more. Sorry for so many questions, but this is the last one. You know, what technique do I delete our memories?
Of course, yes. His technique was brain destruction.
At the moment, there's no doubt that is one of my most powerful mental techniques. Mr. Beerus, it's time to leave. Both deities had returned to their planet, so the instant they arrived, they both began to discuss what had happened in the divine entire world. Hey, Whis, if everything that great sage has informed us turns out to be true, what is the danger that threatened all the 12 universes, and because only the Saiyans will be the chosen ones? I really don't know, Mr. Beerus. All this has great mysteries. I don't remember absolutely anything. I could do it if the technique had been executed by one of my brothers, but me being the most powerful angel is impossible. In that case, why don't we inform the High Priest about your memory loss? No, from my point of view, it is a terrible idea, since the essence and the power that emanated my father has completely changed. Returning to the kingdom of the whole, Daishinkan was furious at not being able to find the whereabouts of the Saiyans.
Damn it. I want to destroy all 12 universes to finish with you simple good-for-nothing worms. Because with total destruction, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Daishinkan, in case you can't find them, I want you to gather the Super Dragon Balls. With Zama's help, investigate their whereabouts.
As you order, great Zeno-sama.
So at the end of the 3 days, Daishinkan would invoke the powerful god Zalma, informing him about what his desire was. But the words of the powerful dragon Zalma left him dumbfounded.
I'm sorry. What you wish you ask me is out of my possibilities. Because of the soul of the Saiyans that you have named me, I can't find it within the 12 universes, nor in the beyond, so make another wish.
My lord, not even the mighty dragon god Zalma knows where those damn Saiyans are located. In that case, what's your wish?
Damn it. Ask him to withdraw, as he's been of no use to us.
But before Daishinkan's able to inform the powerful dragon god Zalma, Zeno-sama's mind became enlightened, so he would change his mind.
No, Daishinkan, wait. I want you to bring to life Itrus, the god of lightning.
Understood, my lord. As you command.
Daishinkan would inform the powerful god Zalma the desire, so the dragon's eyes would light up, and in front of them, a warrior would appear which seemed to be a simple human due to his physical.
My lord, with the respect you deserve, but this warrior seems to be a simple trash. He doesn't exude any great power and doesn't possess an inevitable physique.
But Daishinkan would be thrown all over the place with thousands of wounds all over his body. But without finishing his attack, the warrior had been able to grant millions of cuts in a matter of seconds. So with great power, he would make Daishinkan fall to a planet, expelling large amounts of blood from his entire body. Thanks for bringing me back to life, great Zeno-sama. Although it's a surprise for me, because even your father gave his life to end my life.
Ha ha! Oh, those were past times. Right now, that doesn't interest me. But I know that you are the perfect warrior to command with me in this new empire of darkness.
I don't know what you mean, but let me teach your protective angel a few manners, since I'm not going to overlook that disrespect. Without Zeno-sama being able to say anything, Itrus, at a great speed, would begin to grant him hundreds of blows, which Daishinkan wasn't able to do anything. And although the negative energy made him much more powerful, he was not able to defend himself nor grant him a single blow. And tell me, you think I'm weak now? Itrus, with a single blow to the entire stomach, was able to knock Daishinkan to the ground out of combat. Itrus would begin to carry a powerful energy sphere in his hand, but the instant he was about to throw it, Zeno-sama would hold Itrus' hand tightly, destroying several of his bones.
No, I won't let you end my angel's life, so you better calm down, if you don't want me to send you to the other world again.
Do you think you have the necessary power to be able to end my life? If even your father, the original king of all, had to sacrifice himself, what would you be able to do, dwarf good for nothing? Zeno-sama, without saying a single word, had agreed to a combat form which he had never shown before. So as if it were a flash, he had made Itrus fall to the ground hard, without him being able to do anything, and with a few blows had left him on the verge of death.
Of that and more I'm capable, so it'd be better to leave the kingdom of the all.
Returning to the angelic dimension, the training of the Saiyans had no rest, as each of them wanted their revenge as soon as possible. In the entire angelic dimension, the Saiyans would continue with their rigorous training. However, Broly's power, along with Goku's power, was the one that increased the most. But unlike Goku's power, Broly was not able to control it. That's right, while Goku was able to control his power in its entirety. Broly, you better get a grip since I don't want to knock you out again. However, Broly would instantly expel all of his legendary power.
Damn, I want to get out of this damn place.
Broly, with all his power, and while his anger overflowed, he began to exchange blows with Goku all over the place. However, Goku, as if he were dancing ballet, he was able to dodge each one of his blows with incredible precision. And without intending to waste time in an unnecessary battle, with an accurate blow to Broly's head, he was able to knock him out of combat. So at the moment, Goku would return to his base state, starting to meditate again.
The power that Kakarot insects increased is an amazing way, but I can't believe even how his character has changed. He already is much more serious.
I agree with you, Mr. Vegeta. That has surprised even me. But this is not the time to be surprised. We have to exceed our limits.
That's right, Gohan. So I want you to accept that transformation and fight against me, because if you've been able to achieve that transformation, I can also do it.
Gohan, by training the Beast Mode for a few months, was able to access it at will, but the energy drain was amazing. While on Vegeta's part, he had only been able to increase his power without getting any power-up transformations.
No matter how much I raise my power, I need an empowering transformation, which allows me to withstand much more energy load.
Gohan was instantly able to access his Beast Mode, but the power he released completely overshadowed the power of the Prince of the Saiyans, who, without any fair, had launched himself against Gohan. Both warriors began to exchange thousands of blows all over the place. That's right, but the blows by Vegeta were not able to do any harm to Gohan, while each blow of Gohan was able to cause incredible damage to the Prince of the Saiyans. Gohan, with a powerful kick, was able to send Vegeta to a part of the dimension, causing a huge explosion all over the place.
Oh, I'm sorry, apparently I've overdone it.
Gohan would return to his base state with the intention of helping Vegeta, but when he observed a Vegeta with his cold countenance, he was a little surprised, because Vegeta, despite being in his base state, the power that began to emanate from his body was a real madness. That's right, Vegeta's body was feeling in a desperate situation, was able to access a new state. That state would leave everyone present surprised due to the power that began to release. That power that's releasing Vegeta's body is not normal, so he's able to access a new transformation. An incredible aura would rise through the dimension, in which he was able to cause hundreds of disasters all over the place. And from a great expulsion of all his power, he was able to access the Ultra Ego, a state never before seen by any of the warriors present.
What kind of transformation's this? Although I'm not interested, I want to know that the power that I possess is amazing. Gohan, you better transform because I want to use my power to the maximum.
Gohan was able again to access his Beast Mode, so at the moment both warriors began to exchange millions of blows all over the place, while Goku watched the battle very carefully.
Vegeta's power in that transformation's increased in an incredible way.
The battle of both warriors would look very even, but when Vegeta was able to get a power similar to Gohan's, he would begin to take the advantage, because his experience on the battlefield was much greater than Gohan's. So Vegeta would instantly return the blow that Gohan had given him a few moments ago, so Gohan would fall to the ground heavily, creating great chaos all over the place.
With this power, I'm sure I can beat Kakarot's useless one. So get ready, Kakarot.
You better not neglect your defense, since Gohan hasn't been defeated yet.
But Goku was surprised to realize how Gohan, despite going through Vegeta's blind spot, was not able to give him the blow he had intended, since Vegeta with one hand was able to stop him. Although with their fists collided, they created a big explosion all over the place.
Gohan, you're no longer a match for me, but at this moment I'll defeat you, since I know the humiliation that a warrior goes through when he has pity on him.
So Vegeta, moving at an incredible speed, was able to grant him a punch in the stomach, but the power of that punch was so much that it was able to knock Gohan out of combat with a single blow.
Wow, you amaze me, Vegeta! You've been able to get an amazing power!
I want to fight with you, Kakarot. I want to show you that I'm no longer behind you. I'm capable of facing you with my maximum power.
We'd better leave it for the next one. I don't want to take advantage of the fact that you've recently achieved that transformation. Better control the energy drain, and then we have our battle.
But Vegeta, without making chaos, to Goku's warnings, he had launched himself against him. But Goku, possessing the Ultra Instinct mastered 100%, was able to dodge every one of his punches. So he would turn around with a big smile. Heh, apparently you want to be defeated by me again. In that case, I'll give you the pleasure that you fight with my maximum power.
That's what I've been longing to hear. Get ready, insect.
Both rivals got into battle pose, so without wasting any time, they threw themselves against each other. Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of the Whole, after about 1 week had passed, Itris, together with Daishinkan, were able to wake up.
Ugh, what happened? We were bringing a powerful ally to life. How did we get up?
Damn it, I don't know how your fucking dwarf possesses so much power. Are you perhaps more powerful than the king of the original everything?
First of all, I want you to address me with respect, or I'll be forced to teach you to respect me. And secondly, of course I'm more powerful than my father.
Itris, without believing Zeno-sama's statement, would try to throw himself against him again, but Zeno-sama mercilessly was able to release all his pressure focused simply on Itris, so every one of his bones turned to dust, and he even started choking on his own blood due to the incredible damage he was receiving.
Do you not want me to keep releasing my pressure, or have you already understood that you're not able to do anything against me?
I'm sorry, Big Zeno-sama. I promise I won't disrespect you again. Zeno-sama would immediately stop releasing all his pressure, but Itris had been again left in pathetic conditions, since he wasn't able to move a single one of his fingers, as all his bones were completely destroyed.
Daishinkan, take him to the recovery room so that while each of his limbs heals, his power grows a little more.
As you order, my lord.
Daishinkan would take the body of Itris, leaving for the recovery room. Meanwhile, in Universe 7, both deities were still very thoughtful about what happened in the universe. In that case, I'm sure this whole problem belongs to the higher-ups, since one way or another there will be no way for me to make such a decision.
I was thinking the same thing too, Whis. Since only Daishinkan and Zeno-sama would be able to notice something, and they don't want us to know anything.
That's right, Mr. Beerus, but these days, the power and essence of Zeno-sama and Daishinkan-sama has completely changed to the essence of incredible evil.
We have to do something. And really, we should be able to contact Goku and the other Saiyans.
That's what I've tried, Mr. Beerus, but I find it impossible. I've tried every possible method to be able to contact them, but I'm not able to achieve.
In that case, the only thing we could do is to follow the orders, since we're not able to do anything against the high commands of the Divine Kingdom.
Returning to the angelic dimension, both Saiyans, although they seemed very equal, Goku did not seem tired in the slightest, unlike Vegeta, who in every exchange of blows could be observed much more fatigued.
Damn it. How is it possible that you're able to cope with me? I'm the Prince of the Saiyans, and I've gained this new power.
Indeed, the power you've achieved is amazing, but you're forgetting something very important. No matter how much power you get, you have to learn it to master it completely.
Vegeta angrily threw himself against Goku once again, but this time Goku would take a very strange pose, so hundreds of energy swords would be fired at Vegeta's body. But some of the swords were completely destroyed due to Vegeta's destructive aura, which left Goku surprised. But since there were hundreds of energy swords, Vegeta would fall to the ground completely defeated.
You have great power, but it's time for you to rest. We have to finish with that bastard who was able to manipulate Zeno-sama.
Goku, on the other hand, had also been able to obtain a Zenkai, after several months having such a demanding battle against the Prince of the Saiyans.
That battle has helped me understand my power much more. Although I am more powerful, I haven't been able to access any transformation.
Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of the Whole, Zeno-sama would be able to speak with Daishinkan, so Daishinkan, at the end of leaving Itris in the recovery room, would come with his king.
Tell me, my lord, how can I help you?
You still know nothing about those damn Saiyans. I don't understand how they were able to disappear.
I agree with you, my lord, as I even put every angel and god in search of those Saiyans, and no one's able to have at least a clue as their whereabouts.
Something very bad is about to happen, and I'm sure of this.
Since that conversation had already been about 4 months, in which the gods of destruction had forgotten about the matter of the Saiyans, with the exception of the deities of Universe 7. But in all this time, in the angelic dimension, several years had also passed, and with that help of the gravity, the increase in power they had achieved was unparalleled. But among all the warriors, in the same way, Goku would still be in the most powerful, since among all of them, a silver-haired fur could be observed all over the place. So it is while Goku's power was rising to a maximum level.
The power that Kakarot's achieved is incredible. We'll finally be able to avenge. We don't know who's behind all this, but we'll come to the end of this matter.
We have to be able to control my legendary status and even master the power beyond a god. But I want to annihilate the cause of all this.
I just hope nothing happened to my family. And finally, after several years, we'll be able to get out of this damn place.
Goku, with the power of the Celestial Super Saiyan, the name he had called his transformation, would begin to crack the entire dimension. So with a big smile, and a powerful Ozaru could be seen all over the place, while a gigantic beast claw was able to destroy the entire angelic dimension. So the instant he left that place, 4 incredible powers were felt by each of the 12 universes, which had caught the attention of every divine being in the entire multiverse.
So, this is what I was afraid of. After several months, those damn Saiyans have come forward. Apparently they have incredible power.
The power of those bastards are capable of possessing is amazing, but they won't be able to beat us.
Finally, after so many millions of years, apparently I'll have some fun. The entire divine kingdom would begin to approach where such power was being released, while various gods and angels would come with little fear due to all the pressure emanating in the universes. The incredible power of Goku and his new transformation had been so great as to destroy the dimension to which they had been sent. All the beings of divine energy at an incredible speed headed towards where these incredible powers were released, because this time they had even caught the attention of the powerful god Idris.
Finally! Today I'll finish with those dirty mortals. I don't know where the hell they'd gotten, but I plan to destroy them completely.
The entire divine kingdom had arrived in the presence of the 4 Saiyans, which on this occasion all released in an overwhelming power. But at the moment of arriving, the deities of Universe 7 were surprised to realize all the incredible power that emanated.
Hey, Whis, what happened to them? How have you been able to possess this incredible power?
I have not the slightest idea, Mr. Beerus, but there is only one thing for sure, and that is that we know finally what happened during this time. At the moment, an incredible aura would rise through all the 12 universes. That's right, it was the aura of the powerful Saiyan Goku, who was beginning to release an overwhelming power while approaching the entire divine kingdom. Damn! How are you able to control the mighty Zeno-sama? Although I don't care who the hell you are, because today will end your existence. All the beings of divine energy, with the exception of Daishinken, were surprised to hear such an incredible revelation, even Idris.
So, in all of this time, I've been manipulated by a useless, who's not even the stupid king at all. I myself will end your pathetic existence.
Idris rushed against Zeno-sama, but to his surprise, Zeno-sama, without moving any of his fingers, was able to make him fall to the ground, because he had released an incredible pressure, which at the moment of being about to reach the gods and angels, Broly, with his unlimited power, would create a powerful energy barrier, in which being inside even the great pressure of Zeno-sama was not able to do anything.
You better stay inside that energy barrier, because if you come out, you'll be affected by all that pressure from that damn dwarf.
I warned you, Idris. Once again, you have lack of respect for me. I'll annihilate you.
Zeno-sama would raise both hands, with which, at the moment, as if were a simple worm, he was able to end the life of Idris, one of the most powerful beings of all time.
Well, it's time to finish with you, because thanks to you good-for-nothing Saiyans, I've lost one of my most powerful men.
It'll be useless for you to have an army when today you die.
But Zeno-sama, despite not having access to his combat form, at an impressive speed he'd been able to hold Vegeta by the neck, being able to cause a great disaster, because he had used Vegeta's body to cause everything that happened. Vegeta, when trying to defend himself, Zeno-sama was able to neutralize him completely, and with a great kick had sent him to a planet, creating an incredible destruction.
We can't let that damn dwarf end Mr. Vegeta's life!
Gohan at the moment had launched himself against Zeno-sama, so followed, Broly would also pounce against him, while Goku was watching each of the attacks in defense. That's right, Goku was starting to analyze Zeno-sama's combat form.
The warrior that's been able to manipulate him must be an extremely powerful subject, because his way of fighting is the way of an experienced warrior. A warrior who's gone through thousands of battles.
However, at the time of being 3 against 1, they began to have a little advantage. But Zeno-sama was not far behind because despite being few blows, the attacks that he was able to connect to the warriors were of a power, with which he would destroy 2 universes. But the resistance of their bodies had grown in an amazing way. But at the moment, Zeno-sama in each of his hands had created 2 spheres of energy, which gave off an incredible power. The condensed power had been an outrage. At the moment, a great explosion would be created all over the place.
He had been stupid. He wouldn't be able to control all that power, and for that reason he'd been destroyed by his own energy.
But from all that explosion, the silhouette of an imposing warrior was beginning to be observed, very distant to the appearance of Zeno-sama, since Zeno-sama had access to his combat form, with which his appearance as well as his power changed drastically.
It's amazing that mere mortals like you have been able to force me to use my combat form.
Meanwhile, Daishinka would start attacking the barrier that Broly had left to protect all the other angels and gods. I knew that my father had been manipulated by a damn imposter in the same way, but in the same way, his power is still incredible. Goku would notice how Broly's barrier, the more the minutes pass, the more it cracks. That's right, it was a matter of time for Broly's barrier to be completely destroyed. Broly, take care of the High Priest. I want you to end his life, since I'm sure he wouldn't have liked to be manipulated like that. When all this is over, we'll be able to use the Super Dragon Balls.
I understand. Just don't go trusting each other, since that damn dwarf's power has grown in an incredible way.
Broly would move quickly to be able to prevent Daishinkan from being able to destroy his barrier. So when he arrived, he was able to connect a powerful blow to Daishinkan's face, which had sent him flying to a planet, completely destroying it because the power condensed in Broly's fist was a real madness.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'll have to end Daishinkan's life, since he's been manipulated by the same entity that controls Zeno-sama. For that reason, we'll end with both until we find the solution, which would be to bring them to life with the Super Dragon Balls.
I understand. In that case, of course we support it, since for some time we have observed the top brass acting in very strange ways. But without being able to continue with their conversation, Daishinkan rushed against Broly, which instantly both began to exchange thousands of blows throughout that universe. However, although Broly was the legendary Super Saiyan and his power was unlimited, he was maintaining a very even battle with the Great Priest, because the negative energy was able to make him much more powerful the more the battle went on. So the moment Daishinkan was able to return the blow that Broly had given him, for what that moment, Broly would be sent flying to a few mountains, created a big chaos all over the place.
You have incredible power, but you're still a simple dirty mortal. You'll never be able to share with us the beings of pure divine energy.
Broly would recover from that powerful blow, and at the moment, without wasting time, he would expel all his power, destroying everything in his path.
I have to use everything I have against Daishinkan, since he is considered one of the most powerful warriors of the 12 universes for nothing.
The battle of both would resume. On the other hand, the battle of the 3 Saiyans, surprising as it may seem, they began to have a great disadvantage. That's right, the power of Zeno-sama was a complete madness, which even the 3 Saiyans were not able to match. Only Goku was able to get a little closer to his overwhelming power, but the damage that Zeno-sama caused them was incredible damage. At the moment, Zeno-sama would increase his speed much more, so he was able to cause them great damage, making the trio of warriors fall to the ground very badly injured and on the verge of death. God damn it! Despite having trained for thousands of years in that damn room, we're not able to do anything against that bastard!
Kakarot, we still have one last method. We'll use fusion and create the most powerful warrior of all the 12 universes I've ever seen.
It doesn't matter that I die. I'll grant them the necessary time so that they'll be able to perform the fusion. Gohan had pounced against Zeno-sama. However, Zeno-sama not having knowledge of his plan, he would begin to torture Gohan in thousands of different ways. Even Gohan had returned to his base state due to all the damage he had generated. But the instant he was about to deliver the final blow that would end Gohan's life, an incredible power as well as pressure would be felt all over the place. That's right, the powerful Gogeta, Ultra Instinct, had been able to appear on the battlefield, being able to stop Zeno-sama at the last second.
I don't care who you are. I'll be the one in charge of finishing you. I'm known as the Beast Tamer.
Confident, Zeno-sama would watch the warrior because although he was able to release an incredible aura, his true power had not yet been shown to any warrior. Zeno-sama would begin to approach Gogeta, which in the same way he would while a great wave of energy had sent him towards the barrier previously created by Broly, to which the angels began to heal each of his wounds. Returning with the warriors, both began to exchange thousands of blows at impressive speeds. So much were their speeds that this time the angels were not able to see absolutely anything. They were only able to observe how a warrior had been sent to fly to a planet, destroying it completely. But on the surface, they were able to observe Gogeta. The combined power of Lord Goku and Vegeta is incredible. So much so that they're even able to corner a king completely in their combat form.
Ouch! I felt that blow, but let's see if you're able to follow me and step completely, since next to me you're nothing.
Zeno-sama would release much more power, with which he pounced again. The battle seemed much more even. For his part, in the battle of Broly and Daishinkan was able to corner Broly because every wound that Broly gave him, Daishinkan, with the negative energy, was able to heal completely. So Broly would come up with a plan to leave absolutely nothing of Daishinkan.
You're powerful, but I'm sure I'm much more resistant than you, so I want to see if you're able to withstand an explosion of all my power.
Broly with a great blow was able to send Daishinkan flying. However, at the moment, Daishinkan would lash out in the same way, but Broly with his physical strength was able to hold him completely.
At this moment, you'll receive this big explosion.
Daishinkan, despite releasing all his power, was not able to compare with the physical strength that Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, possessed. So at the moment, Broly would create that big explosion, which would not be observed in anything for several minutes. But in the middle of the explosion, Daishinkan had been turned into simple dust of the universe, while Broly would fall to a nearby planet, creating a big crater, since he had no energy to stay in the air. This warrior is really honorable. He has even been able to almost sacrifice himself for our welfare. Now all that is missing is that dam. The battle of both warriors would remain very even. However, Zeno-sama's power, for a strange reason, would begin to decrease, which both warriors realized. However, Gogeta would not miss the opportunity, starting to use much more power than his body was able to withstand.
No, your body's not able to take much more power, apparently. So I'll end this once and for all.
Gogeta, in one of his hands, was able to create a powerful attack, which was even able to make everything around him shake.
Divine Punisher of Souls.
The attack had successfully reached Zeno-sama, creating a great chaos all around. However, to everyone's surprise, the powerful Zeno-sama was lying on the ground in terrible conditions, while at the top of all the 12 universes, an incredible negative aura was beginning to form.
You bastard. Having planned to control the useless king completely, you are the only one to interfere in my plans. But the time of your death has come.
That great dark energy would begin to take the form of an imposing warrior, which his appearance was extremely incredible, since he was able to bend any warrior who stood in front of him. The imposing warrior, with a quick flash, was able to leave the powerful fusion lying on the ground with hundreds of wounds all over his body. This is amazing! I wasn't able to see anything, but Gogeta was in terrible condition in a matter of seconds. Gogeta would stand up, starting to attack that warrior, but his hands were left shaking with every exchange of blows.
Damn it! My pride has been shattered, but I have to run away!
Gogeta, in one of his hands, was able to create a sphere of energy which did not possess any destructive power. It had only radiated a great light, which Gogeta would take advantage to leave the place at an incredible speed. With all the other warriors, after 30 seconds, Jamura was able to recover the vision.
No matter what you do, or where you hide, I will find you and finish with each one of you!
The powerful warrior Jamura, with a big smile, would begin to create a large sphere of mass density in the palm of his hands, with which the condensed power was amazing. So instantly, without hesitation, he was able to destroy the 12 universes, leaving nothing standing, because this time, he'd been able to resort to a much greater power than normal.
If you are anywhere in the 12 universes at this moment, you must have been turned into simple cosmic dust.
That great explosion was beginning to approach all the warriors, but as if it were a miracle, Zeno-sama in his combat form had prostrated himself before that great explosion, and with a great determination in each of his hands, he would form a tiny spheres, But although his size was insignificant, the power that condensed in each of them was unreal.
Because of my damn fault, that miserable demon has been able to destroy all 12 universes. If necessary, I plan to give my life for those Saiyans to survive, because I'm sure they'll be able to defeat them.
At the moment, that big explosion would begin to impact Zeno-sama. However, the King of the Whole in the same way would begin to channel all his power in that attack, being able to repel the attack for a few seconds, but being about to be defeated, all the other angels would begin to transmit all their power so that Zeno-sama would not be defeated so easily. Great Zeno-sama, we know that you're not the one behind all this, since the cause has been made, that miserable one, but don't worry, because this time you have our support. Zeno-sama was able to withstand that big explosion, but at the moment, he would still fall to the ground, because the damages he had received were of another level. For his part, Jamura would enter the Kingdom of the Whole.
This is what I really needed. Since I'm not in this damn place to take orders, but I have to start creating my army.
Jamura, with some strange poses, was able to summon a portal, from which hundreds of warriors began to come out of all the Kingdom of the All. But among them, the one who stood out the most was an imposing warrior who was very similar to Frieza's race, but the power he was able to give off was amazing.
It will be a pleasure to be under your orders, my lord. And don't forget that you can order us anything, and we will comply with it without any objection.
I like that. But for now, I want all of you to take care of protecting the barriers of this multiverse, since this will be the multiverse of ruin.
As you order, my lord. In that case, I will delegate myself several recruits to the borders of this great multiverse.
Returning to the other warriors, the most affected were the Saiyans, because their bodies were completely shattered. Even with the help of the angels, their bodies were hardly able to accept the energy they were receiving. However, at a specific moment, the Prince of the Saiyans would wake up, expelling all his power in the Ultra Ego. However, when observing Vegeta's eyes, they were completely white, implying that he was unconscious. The damage they have to receive must have been incredible, so that they're not even able to control their own bodies. Seconds later, the Prince of the Saiyans would fall to the ground again. Brother, do you think that the Divine World is capable of emerging victorious from this battle? I don't know, sister, but the only thing I'm sure is that we must protect these Saiyans with our lives, as they are the hope, because that was the thought of our dear father. On the other hand, on the borders of the multiverse of Zeno-sama, several warriors began to enter because of the other kings of the All. Upon witnessing the fall of the king of the All, had decided to claim as their own the territory that was once Zeno-sama's. This multiverse of Zeno-sama will be mine, and I'll not allow anyone else to be able to approach what belongs to me, the two most powerful warriors of my multiverse. Go put order. We have to be the biggest and most powerful multiverse. That's why we have to get hold of that multiverse. That was the thought of most kings at all, so they had sent their most powerful warriors, finding several of them on the borders of the multiverse. But when they were about to start fighting among them, several of them were surprised to realize how a flash was able to even split several of their enemies in half, as if it were a blade. But not being enough, was able to even split several planets in half that had crossed in their passage. I don't want to fight each other. Since I have thousands of years, I don't have a good fight, and I want to have some fun. The warriors stared at each other while among all, a powerful warrior with several horns on his head would step forward.
Apparently you are a somewhat powerful warrior, but it's a pity that you don't have any allies, unlike us who are an army next to you. For your information, I only have the power of an army, and if you don't believe what I'm telling you, you'd better come and check it out for yourself.
Instantly, several warriors launched themselves against Archon, who, without any difficulty, was able to dodge each of their blows of the warriors, being able to even grant thousands of cuts all over the battlefield, ending with the life of several warriors. That's right, on the part of Archon, he began to create a mountain of dejected warriors. Well, although the other warriors had the numerical advantage, they weren't able to cause an effective damage. Archon, because even when they hit Archon, their fists hurt due to the resistant skin that Archon, with the help of his tail, was able to send the warriors he had nearby to fly to several planets.
That's what you mean you guys had the army of a power. Don't make me laugh. They're just simple ants next to me. Ugh, that hurt me too much. How's it possible that a simple warrior is able to put us in these conditions?
Meanwhile, Archon was watching them from atop of the atmosphere. The other warriors began to lose their fighting instinct, as no matter what technique or attack they used, Archon was always ahead of them.
Don't give up. I'm sure that bastard must be exhausted too, since it's not easy at all to face warriors more powerful than the priests themselves.
Archon, a little irritated by the presence of that warrior, had moved at a speed that, on this occasion, no one was able to observe.
You've got me tired with your damn words, so you die easy. Don't use even 25% of all my power. Now die!
Archon, with a great attack of energy, would be released all over the place, wiping out most of the warriors. Was able to end the battle since all of the warriors, only one of them managed to escape into his multiverse.
I want you to reach your destination, as I have a surprise for you, and the curse of your king who wants to conquer the multiverse of the mighty Jamura.
Archon was able to feel the perception of his energy, since inside that warrior had injected a lot of negative energy. So when he arrived, his king of all, he would leave the palace when he realized how his most powerful warrior spat too much blood all over the place.
I can't believe what I'm witnessing. How was it Zeno-sama who did this to you?
Without him being able to respond, his whole body was starting to inflate, and at the moment, a huge explosion would be created all over the place. So powerful had that explosion been, that even on this occasion, the blood of the entire warrior would fall like rain, while a monster would be created on the top.
So you're the damn worm that wanted to take over our multiverse. For all your information, that multiverse is under our control, and I'll give you a little taste of what'll happen to you if you mess with us again.
The incredible monster, despite his enormous size, was able to grant thousands of blows all over the warrior's body. To the size being enormous, the damage it had caused to the king at all was of another level. The Archon technique would fade, meanwhile, during which the Saiyan warriors, the angels, had chosen to enter a dimension in which time passes in a much faster way. In order to be able to the warriors recover in the shortest possible time, to spend in that room 3 years, the warriors had woken up. Well, it had only been 2 days outside, however, the warriors woke up not 100%, as several of their energy veins were not able to assimilate such incredible power that the new warrior had shown.
Ah, my body hurts completely. Where are we?
Well, I don't know, you damn insect, but we must look for a solution, so we're able to defeat that damn monster.
I agree with you, Mr. Vegeta, and we have the right plan for you to be able to achieve it. Both Saiyans who had been able to first wake up were realized how the angels and gods had returned to normal.
Goku, I know it's not time, but I'm proud of the power you've been able to get. Just like you, Vegeta, you're really the protectors of the 12 universes. No, Mr. Beerus, we were defeated by that damn garbage, and we could do absolutely nothing against it.
There is one last possibility, and it is the power beyond the King of the All, the power beyond the divine. It is known as the state of an Omnigod.
Omnigod? What state are you referring to, Whis? Please explain to us.
The state of the Omnigod is able to channel all the power and vital energy. Even if he left them for 5 years without being able to fight, the power he can give them is of another level. It is said that there has been no warrior who's able to survive after fighting with warriors who reach that state.
Stop fighting for 5 years. Of course I could do it in order to finish with that bastard who finished with my whole family.
In that case, it's decided. Would be the new warriors to take over the power beyond the King of All.
Well, in that case, since Daishinkan-sama's not present, we, the 12 angels and gods, will use our power to be able to perform the ritual, as well as grant them such a state. All the gods and angels began to surround Goku and Vegeta, while a strange feeling was felt by the Saiyan warriors. But instantly, both warriors fell to the ground due to all the incredible power and essence that is entering their bodies.
Bear with me. It's not long, very little.
Both Saiyans were immediately knocked out of combat, so after a few hours, they would both wake up, but even their powers in sleep mode, it was incredible. It's time for you to be able to access a new level. Expel all your power. Goku and Vegeta expelled the maximum of their powers, with which the power they were able to release was amazing. While various marks on their body would become present, as well as the entire dimension they had reached, would be completely destroyed, being able to feel such abominable power by all existing multiverses.
What? Whose powers are these? They're gigantic powers.
Jamura, along with Archon and several of his warriors, began to head towards the place, while Whis had confirmed him that they were only able to stay in such a state for 1 hour, since the cannon's power was supreme.
So 1 hour, but 5 minutes will be enough for us. I hope you're ready, Vegeta.
So you thought the same as me. The one who has to beat him back is the mighty Gogeta.
Both Saiyans would quickly make the fusion, which left Whis surprised, since the time would be shortened in an incredible way. But the moment of such warrior appearing in intimidating presence was able to be felt all over the place. Gogeta, Super Saiyan Omni, was able to observe how in the distance several warriors were approaching. Gogeta, as if were a flash, were able to arrive in a few seconds in front of all the warriors, and with a very powerful blow was able to send Jamura flying to the surface of a planet, destroying it completely.
Damn you, worm! You'll die! Palms of death!
That monster would appear again, but the moment he would execute one of his most powerful techniques, however, to everyone's surprise, Gogeta was able to dodge each and every one of his blows.
You're not the right opponent for me. Besides, I don't have time. I just have to finish with the damn Jamura.
Archon, with a small attack in one of his hands, was able to pulverize him completely, because the attack, being a few centimeters from colliding with Archon, would increase his size to the bearing of a sun. That's right, Archon, the most powerful warrior of the elite Jamura, had been eliminated as a simple insect, while Gogeta, without waiting for Jamura to recover, rushed against him, starting to grant him a shower of blows all over his body, leaving him in terrible conditions.
I'll not beg for my life, but you're an admirable warrior. I didn't think that you'd be able to manage to hurt me so much, to the point of being able to leave almost on the verge of death.
As I told you, I'm the Beast Tamer. I hope you'll be reborn as a good guy. But now die!
Gogeta would throw his most powerful attack against Jamura, with which so much power there had been absolutely nothing left of it. While at the same instant the fusion would end, Goku and Vegeta would fall to the ground out of combat, Gohan and Broly would hold them, while the angels with all their divine power were able to get everything back to normal. While they are the Super Dragon Balls, they managed to bring Daishenkin back to life in the same way.
Whis, I told you, those Saiyans will be the saviors of this multiverse.
That's right, Father. I'm sorry for mistrusting you. So all the warriors left their respective planets, while the Saiyans would be served a banquet the instant they arrived, while the 5 years would pass for both Saiyans to fully recover. At the moment when both warriors were fighting a battle that could change the fate of Earth, this being who presented himself as Bahamut's henchman, this dark entity with a humanoid shape but a bird's head, was going to be surprised by the abilities of the Saiyan warriors. In the middle of the combat, of all the show of strength between both warriors and this dark being, Takagami, with a confused face but confident that his strength was far superior to that of these earthly warriors, thought, "I'm amazed at the strength these earthly beings possess. I guess they deserve to know who'll kill them." Then at that moment he told them with a malevolent smile, he said, "I've been surprised by warriors. That's why they deserve to know my name. I'm Takagami, sacred god of darkness, follower of the supreme god Bahamut." Goku, very surprised of what he's hearing, said, "More gods? This sounds very dangerous and it's exciting."
Bug, shut up! The life of this planet's at risk, and you get excited about a being that's very powerful.
The speed of the combat accelerated as Goku and Vegeta pounced on Takagami. The energy in the air became dense, vibrating with the intensity of the impending confrontation. Takagami, with his dark aura, stood his ground, disdainfully watching the approaching Saiyans. "Do you think you have a chance against the power of darkness?" Goku and Vegeta continued their advance, wasting no time in unnecessary words. In the blink of an eye, they were in front of Takagami, unleashing a gale of blows. Takagami, with surprising agility, dodged many of the attacks, but some managed to land, demonstrating the strength of the Saiyans. "Don't underestimate the power of a Saiyan!"
Come on, God of Darkness, show us what you can do.
Takagami responded to the challenge, unleashing his own fury. His speed and combat skills were amazing, deflecting the blows of Goku and Vegeta with subtle movements. The battle turned into a whirlwind of punches, kicks, and ki blasts, lighting up the sky with flashes of light and darkness.
They're just insects in front of the power of eternal darkness.
Goku in his base state and Vegeta, with their pride as the Saiyan Prince, continued to put pressure on Takagami. However, as the battle progressed, Takagami began to reveal more of his true power. His dark aura intensified, and his form subtly changed, revealing a transformation that increased his power exponentially.
This can't be good.
Goku, always excited for a challenge, added, "Vegeta, get ready! This is getting interesting." Takagami's increased power created an overwhelming pressure on the battlefield. His speed increased dramatically, and his strength eclipsed that of the Saiyans. However, Goku and Vegeta were not intimidated. With determination, they raised their own power of levels, taking the battle to new heights. The fighting continued with swift attacks and explosions shaking the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, now in more advanced forms, kept up the pace, challenging Takagami at every turn. However, despite his efforts, the sacred god of darkness proved to be a formidable adversary.
This is entertaining, but your resistance is useless. The darkness consumes everything.
Goku and Vegeta, without giving up, exchanged determined glances. "Vegeta, it's time to go further!"
Huh, of course, Kakarot.
As Chaos and Ten Shin Han rushed to warn the other Z warriors, the confrontation between Goku, Vegeta, and Takagami entered a new level of intensity. The struggle for the fate of the universe was in full swing. A cosmic battle was raging on planet Earth, where darkness and light collided in a frantic dance of energy. Goku and Vegeta, the brave Saiyans, were facing Takagami, the Falcon, sacred god of darkness. The intensity of the combat resonated in the universe, and every movement threatened to tear reality itself apart. Takagami, who had increased his power, floated in the air with an imposing presence and dark aura. His eyes glowed with malice as he watched the Saiyans, who stood firm, prepared to defend their fate of the planet. In response to their enemies' increased power, Goku and Vegeta channeled their ki to the maximum, raising their power to the Super Saiyan. "Vegeta, this guy's strong, but that only means that this fight will be even better."
Huh, of course, Kakarot. This is our time to shine.
The planet Earth vibrated with the energy released by the three contenders. The distant stars seemed to pale before the magnitude of the conflict. The clouds were dissipated by such a demonstration of power. Takagami, with his increased speed, lunged at Goku with a darkness-laden punch. Goku, using his elasticity and quickness, dodged gracefully, leaving a trail of flashes around him by the speed at which Takagami was lashing out with his nigh-speed punches. Vegeta, with a burst of ki, stepped between Goku and Takagami, blocking an attack that would have been devastating his fellow Saiyan. The shockwave from the collision sent debris in all directions.
I expected nothing less from you, sacred god of darkness.
Takagami defiantly unleashed a series of dark blasts towards Goku and Vegeta. The Saiyans responded with perfect timing, countering each attack with precise strikes and energy waves. The scene looked like a combat symphony, where every movement was choreographed with divine precision. Goku, with a twinkle in his eye, concentrated his energy on his hands. A bluish sphere of energy began to form, growing in size and luminosity. Vegeta, observing the familiar technique, smiled as he recognized the power that Goku was summoning. A colossal energy wave fired by Goku shot through the sky like lightning, hitting Takagami squarely. However, the darkness was absorbing the energy, and the Falcon emerged unscathed, laughing disdainfully. "Is that all you have, Saiyan?" While Goku was recovering from the effort of his attack, Vegeta launched himself at Takagami with supersonic speed. His fist slammed into the Dark God, creating a shockwave that shook the air. However, Takagami responded with a burst of energy that sent Vegeta backwards.
Ah! Damn, this guy's stronger than I thought.
Goku, recovering, joined the battle again. Both Saiyans, aware that they were facing a formidable enemy, decided that it was time to take the fight to the next level. "Vegeta, how about we show what we can really do?"
Of course, Kakarot. Let's do it.
Goku and Vegeta began to accumulate energy around them. The atmosphere was charged with an intensity of their ki as they unleashed their advanced forms. Goku transformed into the Super Saiyan Blue, while Vegeta assumed his evolved form, the evolved Blue Super Saiyan. Are they taking each other seriously now? Goku and Vegeta, with their new forms, advanced towards Takagami with renewed determination. The speed and strength of the Saiyans were now incomparable. The impacts resounded like cosmic thunder, creating a symphony of destruction in the sky. The battle became even more intense. Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their movements, attacked Takagami with an impressive combination of techniques and melee attacks. The Falcon, despite its power, was overwhelmed by the ferocity of the Saiyans. Final flash! The bursts of energy, one blue and one golden, converged into a titanic explosion that engulfed Takagami. Light and darkness mixed in a burst of dazzling colors. However, when the explosion dissipated, Takagami emerged once more, his form slightly battered, but his determination intact. His power is awesome, but I'm a god. The darkness cannot be defeated so easily. Goku and Vegeta, without giving up, continued the offensive. The speed of his combat reached levels that defied comprehension. Punches and kicks were exchanged in a split second, creating a glow of cosmic collisions.
Big Bang attack!
Kaioken 20 times! The energy exploded again, shaking the sky with its fury. However, Takagami, with his divine resistance, withstood the attacks. The battle raged across the cosmos, with the warriors disappearing and reappearing in flashes of light and shadow. In the middle of the struggle, Goku and Vegeta began to feel an overwhelming pressure. Takagami's darkness seemed to expand, defying even the limits of the most powerful Saiyans. Reality itself was twisting under the influence of dark energy. This darkness is incredibly strong.
We can't back down now, Kakarot. We must get over this.
Both Saiyans raised their powers even more. The fight reached a new peak of intensity. The Saiyan was exploding like fireworks in the vastness of the night sky, lighting up the darkness with flashes of determination and defiance. Takagami, at the epicenter of the storm, smiled ominously. Now you'll see the true power of eternal darkness. The universe trembled as the battle reached its climax. The warriors were fighting for the fate of everything they knew, and the question that lingered in space was whether the light of the Saiyans could overcome the darkness of the sacred god. The planet Earth rumbled with the intensity of the cosmic battle. Goku and Vegeta, drenched in sweat, maintained their advanced forms as they prepared for Takagami's next assault. Darkness was emanating from his figure, but something seemed out of place. The Dark God's skin had a grayish hue, as if he had not yet completed the possession of its wearer. Takagami, with a guttural laugh, seemed to notice the perplexity in the Saiyans' expressions. Surprise, Saiyans! I've not yet revealed all my power. Goku and Vegeta exchanged puzzled looks. Something was not right, and both warriors felt it. At that moment, Takagami convulsed. A new form shook, as if he was fighting against something. An invisible force seemed to pull at him from within. No, I haven't taken complete control yet! Suddenly, a burst of dark energy enveloped Takagami, hiding him from view. The Saiyans were on guard, prepared for any surprise. Their energy in the air became denser, as if the cosmos itself was on the verge of transformation.
What's going on?
Before they could form any more questions, the dark energy dispersed, revealing Takagami's true form. However, what they saw took their breath away. At the moment of arriving at his true form, he let himself see the body he was possessing. This body was Yamcha's. Once the warriors saw that, Takagami completed his bird-headed humanoid form. But now the true form of the sacred god of destruction was clearly revealed. The Falcon's head was clearly shown, with a defined musculature but a thin body, wearing blue Egyptian clothes with gold bracelets and a gold necklace. Huge wings which disappeared and appeared at their whim. Now Takagami had something going for him. He was playing against the Saiyan warriors. Not only should he defeat them, but they should also avoid harming Yamcha. That's what Yamcha looks like! Takagami's rumbling laughter filled the space. Now completely in possession of Yamcha's body, the Dark God was displaying a malevolent smile. That's right, Saiyans. This weak body belongs to me now. Vegeta gritted his teeth furiously. Damn it! How dare you possess one of us? It's not just one Saiyan. Soon all of you will become Bahamut puppets. The reality of the situation hit Goku and Vegeta, but the force of the cosmic impact, the dark entity they were facing was not only a dark god, but also had the power of possessing earthling warriors. Yamcha, now inside the sacred god of darkness, did not have any sign of consciousness. The god had taken control of his being completely. Ha 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 ha! There's no escape. Bahamut will be released, and this universe will fall into eternal darkness. Goku and Vegeta shared a determined look. They knew the threat was even greater now. Not only were they fighting a dark god, they were also faced the possibility of losing their friends and allies in this fight.
Vegeta, we have to find a way to free Yamcha and stop Takagami.
Of course, Kakarot, but first, we have to deal with this dark god. The battle continued, but now the situation was more desperate. Takagami, with Yamcha's body, unleashed an unstoppable fury. The Saiyans struggled not only against eternal darkness, but also against the weight of facing one of their own companions. Explosions of energy lit up the sky, but the inner struggle of Goku and Vegeta was equally intense. Every blow, every burst of ki resonated with the promise of freeing Yamcha and saving the universe from the threat of Bahamut. But Takagami wasn't going to give up so easily.
Do you think you could beat one of the World Eater's henchmen?
The dark energy intensified in the ultimate form of the sacred god of darkness. Now, the freedom to be able to use all his power, launched relentless attacks. Goku and Vegeta, with their advanced forms, were fighting with all their might, but the darkness had a firm grip. The struggle dragged on. Every moment seemed like an eternity. Yamcha, although he was just a contender for Takagami, at one point during the fight showed signs of pain on his face. It was as if his very essence was fighting against the darkness that was consuming her.
Yamcha, hold on! Let's get you out of this!
But Goku's words were lost in the storm. Takagami, with a maniacal laugh, continued his assault. The Earth, witness of this cosmic conflict, trembled before the magnitude of the confrontation between light and darkness. Somewhere far away, Chaos and Ten Shinhan, after learning the other Z warriors about the threat, returned to the battlefield. Seeing the situation, Ten Shinhan's face filled with fury as Chaos clenched his fist determinedly.
Takagami, I'll make sure you pay for this!
Both warriors joined the fight, but even with their abilities, facing a dark god who possessed one of his own would not be so easy. The battle turned into a desperate struggle to face Yamcha and stop Bahamut before he was released. During the chaos, Goku and Vegeta shared a look of determination. The darkness could be powerful, but the light of the Saiyans would shine even in the darkest moments. The battle for the fate of the universe was far from over, and Earth's heroes were ready to face any challenges that stood in their way. Taking a trip to the past, one day before the strange artifact was impregnated into Goku's chest, after rescuing his son Goten, Yamcha, oblivious to the imminent danger that was coming, was exploring an ancient Egyptian pyramid during an archaeological expedition. The atmosphere was charged with mystery and the promise of amazing discoveries. Deep inside the pyramid, Yamcha stumbled upon an ancient artifact that was glowing with a dim light. It was an Egyptian bracelet decorated with intricate hieroglyphs. Fascinated by her beauty and attracted by an inexplicable force, Yamcha could not resist and placed the bracelet on his wrist. The moment the bracelet touched his skin, a strange sensation enveloped Yamcha. It was not painful or threatening, but rather captivating. An ancestral connection was established between the earthly warrior and the Egyptian artifact. What Yamcha didn't know was that this artifact contained an ancient power linked to the age of gods and legends. As the light from the bracelet merged with Yamcha, an ancient presence awoke. It was the essence of an ancient god that was lying asleep inside the artifact. However, this being was neither malevolent nor benevolent. It was simply an ancestral force seeking to join a mortal existence, or at least that was what Yamcha felt at that moment. The god, by merging with Yamcha, granted him abilities and knowledge beyond his comprehension. Yamcha felt with a strength and connection to the story itself. The fusion, although puzzling at first, resulted in a unique symbiosis between the earthly warrior and the divine entity. Yamcha didn't know what the bracelet actually was. Returning to the battle, every moment became more challenging for Goku and Vegeta and the earthly warriors. Takagami, now completely liberated, unleashed a destructive force that tested even the most powerful Saiyans. In an effort to turn the tide of the battle, Ten Shinhan and Chaos joined the fight. Both warriors, aware of the threat possessed by Takagami, threw themselves into the fray bravely. His unique skills and determination added a new dynamic to the conflict, but even with his intervention, the darkness persisted.
Ten Shinhan, keep the pressure on. We cannot allow this darkness to take over our world.
Ten Shinhan nodded, concentrating his energy on coordinated attacks with Goku and Vegeta. Despite their combined efforts, Takagami remained a relentless adversary. As the battle reached its peak, Goku and Vegeta, exhausted but without losing their determination, shared a look of mutual understanding. They knew they needed an extra power to face Takagami at his finest. Instantly, an idea crossed their minds of the Saiyans fusion.
Vegeta, I know it's not something you prefer, but I think it's our only option. I don't like to admit it, Kakarot, but I agree with you. If we want to stop this monster, we need all the power we can get.
Both warriors assumed the necessary postures to perform the fusion dance. The energy of Goku and Vegeta intertwined in a brilliant flash, and within seconds, an entirely new warrior emerged. Gogeta in his base form, the supremely powerful fusion of the two Saiyans.
It seems the occasion requires it. Now, Takagami, get ready. So you think a ridiculous fusion will be able to stand up to my power?
Gogeta rushed towards Takagami with amazing speed. The matchup that followed was an unmatched display of skills. Gogeta dodged Takagami's attacks with grace, fighting back with overwhelming force. However, the darkness that enveloped the Dark God proved to be a formidable challenge. During the intense battle, Tenshinhan and Chaos continued to bravely fight, but the price of a confrontation was already becoming apparent. Takagami, taking advantage of the distraction, launched a devastating attack that left Tenshinhan and Chaos seriously injured. Goku and Vegeta, seeing their companions in danger, felt a surge of rage. Gogeta redoubled his efforts, attacking with renewed ferocity. However, Takagami, aware of the situation, diverted his attention to Tenshinhan and Chaos.
Feeling the despair, Saiyans? Soon this world will witness its end.
Goku and Vegeta, full of rage and determination, increased their speed. They knew they needed to do something before Takagami carried out his threats. The battle reached its climax when Gogeta launched a massive attack on Takagami, seeking to break his resistance. However, the darkness surrounding Takagami intensified, revealing a surprise resistance. It was then that Tenshinhan and Chaos, still on the ground, exchanged a determined look. They knew that whatever they had to do to give Gogeta a chance to defeat Takagami.
Goku, Vegeta, you need time. I'll take care of holding this monster. I'll come with you, Tenshinhan. Together we'll be the barrier they need.
Goku and Vegeta, although reluctant to lose their friends, went at full speed to avoid what they had in mind.
Don't do it, Tenshinhan! Chaos!
Tenshinhan and Chaos stood up, ignoring the pain coursing through their bodies. With determination, they faced Takagami, resisting his attacks with all their might. Gogeta, seeing the situation, understood the magnitude of the sacrifice they were making.
We cannot disappoint this sacrifice. We have to win this.
While Tenshinhan and Chaos bravely fought Takagami, Gogeta continued his assault with the intensity intact. The battle was taking place on two fronts, with the Earth Warriors sacrificing themselves to provide the necessary opening. Goku and Vegeta, as he approached, their hearts were filled with sorrow and gratitude towards Tenshinhan and Chaos. Gogeta, with supersonic speed, approached the scene where Tenshinhan and Chaos were bravely facing Takagami. His gaze reflected the mixture of determination and regret, knowing that the sacrifices of his teammates were the key to victory.
Hold on a little longer, guys. Let's put an end to this.
The Saiyan fusion advanced towards Takagami, who, upon seeing Gogeta's arrival, stopped attacking Tenshinhan and Chaos to confront the fused warrior. The intensity of the battle reached a new level, with attacks and counterattacks echoing across the battlefield. Tenshinhan, with his remaining strength, took advantage of that distraction to hold Takagami with all his strength, preventing him from moving freely. His face showed determination and resignation at the same time.
Chaos, this is your chance. Make every second I hold this monster worth it.
Chaos, next to Tenshinhan, nodded weakly. His body showed the ravages of the battle, but his eyes were shining with all the will to do the duty.
Tenshinhan is right, Gogeta. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Remember that. Goku, Vegeta, take care of our world. This is our last act.
At that moment, Chaos accumulated an immense amount of energy to sacrifice himself. Gogeta, who was very close, were hit by the shock wave of the explosion. Gogeta, recovering from the impact, looked at the place where his companions were with solemnly.
Your sacrifice will not be in vain. I promise.
After what happened, Gogeta raised his head and with an uncontrollable anger increased his ki in such a way that he made the battlefield rumble, making the stones that were in the place fly, making Takagami retreat only with the gusts of air that expanded from his being. In a panning from head to toe, we managed to see Gogeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue Phase 4, which showed the essence of Ozaru as a kind of aura in blue color, and a more controlled but much more powerful version, a transformation never seen, since they were not able to coordinate their powers to be able to reach said transformation. As Gogeta's energy transformed into a surprising and controlled version of Super Saiyan Blue Stage 4, a brilliant blue essence of Ozaru manifested around him, revealing unparalleled potency. The cosmic landscape trembled before the magnitude of this new form. Goku and Vegeta, witness of this unique transformation, were filled with amazement and determination. It was evident that Gogeta was reaching a level of power never seen before, fusing the essence of Super Saiyan Blue with Ozaru's formidable presence flawlessly. Gogeta, in his new form, turned an intense gaze towards Takagami, whose expression of confidence was overshadowed by surprise. The battle, far from having come to an end, was just beginning in this new phase. The universe was waiting for the outcome of this epic confrontation, where light and darkness collided in a cosmic dance. The promise of a new dawn loomed on the horizon, but the price of triumph was uncertain. Gogeta floated in the sky, surrounded by the imposing energy of his new form. The stars seemed to pale before the intensity of his blue radiance, as Takagami recovered from the initial impact and adopted a defensive posture.
What kind of transformation is this?
This is the power of those who fight for something greater than themselves.
With a flash, Gogeta disappeared, appearing in front of Takagami in the blink of an eye. The clash of their fists created shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Gogeta's speed and strength were unmatched, surpassing even Takagami's ability to anticipate his blows. Gogeta and Takagami exchanged blows and energy blasts at breakneck speed. Each impact resounded like cosmic thunder, creating an epic symphony on planet Earth.
Your attempt to revive your so-called gods ends here, Takagami. But you're a bug in the face of the greatness of my power.
In an instant, Gogeta unleashed a burst of concentrated energy, enveloping Takagami in a whirlwind of light and force. When the light dissipated, Takagami emerged unharmed, but with a more serious expression.
Interesting, but not enough.
The battle was reaching cosmic levels, with ripples of energy spreading across the far reaches of the universe. Meanwhile, the other Z warriors watched the sky, appreciating Gogeta's great power of display and Takagami's resilience and viciousness. The roar of battle echoed in every corner of the universe. Gogeta and Takagami, wrapped in an endless dance of energy, continued their titanic confrontation. Space twisted and trembled under the influence of their powers, creating distortions itself. Bursts of energy expanded like lightning, illuminating the darkness of the night sky with dazzling flashes. Each blow between the two contenders seemed to release an explosion of energy that spread in concentric waves, setting the frantic pace of the cosmic battle. Away from the battlefield, the others watched in anguish and admiration. Bulma, with a mixture of fear and hope in her eyes, clung to the hope that Gogeta would prevail.
Come on, Gogeta, you must win! For all of us!
Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Gogeta and Takagami continued their fierce exchange. Determination burned in Gogeta's eyes, while Takagami maintained a defiant smile, though his expression hid a growing unease.
This is for the price you pay for defying the peace of the universe.
With a swift movement, Gogeta vanished and reappeared behind Takagami, launching an energy-charged punch straight at his back. But Takagami, anticipating, quickly spun around and blocked the attack with the dark energy shield.
Haha, is that all you got?
In response, Gogeta intensified his assault, unleashing a continuous flurry of punches and kicks. Each impact resounded like thunder. But Takagami, though outmatched in speed, resisted with his dark power, countering the attacks with deft movements. During the scuttle, Takagami took advantage of the prevalent moment of openness and opened up a launched energy bolt straight for Gogeta's chest. The resulting explosion shook the universe and Gogeta was thrown backwards, leaving a trail of blue energy.
Is that all hope can do?
Gogeta recovered quickly, stood up with determination. The glow of his transformation increased even more.
This is far from over.
The battle continued, leading them again to display an ever-increasing amount of power. In this fury, Gogeta unleashed power that defied the laws of the universe, and Takagami, despite his arrogance, began to show signs of concern. The tension was palpable. The Z Warriors felt the intensity of the confrontation, even when they were a long distance away from where the battle for the future of the planet was taking place. Piccolo was seriously watching, calculating every move and thinking if at some point this battle, which was far from over, would be a favorable outcome. Piccolo, in his thoughts,
Goku, Vegeta, we trust you. You must win this battle.
The battle reached a new climax when Gogeta and Takagami met at an eminent point in the battle. The energy emanated from them, illuminating the vastness of the dark sky, creating a dazzling spectacle of colors and flashes.
You cannot escape darkness. Darkness will never prevail over light. You're a fool if you think your light can eclipse my power.
Suddenly, a voice echoed in Gogeta's mind, a familiar but distant voice.
Gogeta, do not underestimate your enemy. Truth lies within strength.
The transmission abruptly cut off, leaving Gogeta bewildered. Before he could reflect on it, however, Takagami lunged towards him with surprising speed, unleashing a series of punches and kicks that left Gogeta struggling to keep up. At that moment, a fleeting image flashed through Gogeta's mind, a vision of his loved ones, of his purpose, and the responsibility he carried on his shoulders. The energy of the transformation fanned, and Gogeta, with newfound determination, struck back with renewed ferocity.
This is the limit of your tyranny, Takagami. The limit's up to you, Gogeta, and your limit is my power.
Suddenly, the sky around him fragmented, and multiple distorted versions of Takagami emerged from the dimensional rifts, each with a malevolent grin.
You cannot defeat me, Gogeta. I am eternal. I'm a god. You may be powerful, but I'm not alone in this.
The battle reached a new intensity as multiple distorted incarnations of Takagami surrounded Gogeta. Each emanated a dark energy that defied the laws of the universe. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the pressure of their combined presences. At that precise moment, Goku and Vegeta's fusion had come to an end due to the amount of power they had used in order to stand up to Takagami. Goku and Vegeta, although they had returned to their individual forms after the fusion, knew that the key by defeating Takagami lay in perfect unity and coordination. Vegeta, we're in this together. Let's give all our power to be able to confront him so we can free Yamcha from this so-called god.
Yes, Kakarot, this insect will not defeat us.
The Z Warriors watched in amazement, aware that the fate of the universe hung in the balance. Piccolo analyzed the situation, looking for any weaknesses that could be exploited. The others prepared to act if the opportunity presented itself. Goku and Vegeta, now separated, their fusion as Gogeta, faced Takagami with determination in their eyes. The dark presence of the supposed god loomed over them, but the Saiyans were determined to free Yamcha and put an end to the threat he posed. Vegeta, we need to coordinate our attacks. We've always been stronger when we fight together.
For once, I agree with you, Kakarot. This insect will pay for what he did.
The two Saiyans lunged towards Takagami, attacking with a combination of punches and ki blasts. Takagami, though powerful, was momentarily overwhelmed by the timing of the two warriors. However, his sinister laugh echoed across the battlefield.
Your union will change nothing. My power is unlimited.
Goku and Vegeta exchanged glances, realizing that the situation was more serious than they had imagined. Takagami unleashed a wave of dark energy that sent them flying, but they quickly recovered, ready to continue the fight. The Z Warriors watched with concern. Gohan, though a bit intimidated by Takagami's power, maintained his unwavering determination. Piccolo, with his keen intelligence, pointed out a possible weakness.
It seems his power is linked to some source. We must find a way to break that connection.
Goten and Trunks, who had arrived along with Gohan, eager to join the battle, looked at their parents with concern. However, Piccolo stopped them.
Guys, we need a plan before we launch into battle. Your strength will be crucial at the right time.
While the Z Warriors thought of a plan, Goku and Vegeta continued their fierce assault against Takagami. Every time it seemed they were about to defeat him, his power increased and the evil emanating from him intensified.
Ha 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 ha! Your resistance is useless. My power thrives on despair and suffering.
Then we must find a way to change that. Vegeta, we need to attack together, but with a strategy.
You're finally thinking clearly, Kakarot. Let's do it!
The two Saiyans, coordinating their movements, executed a series of synchronized attacks. Although Takagami was defending himself skillfully, he began to show signs of discomfort. The connection between his power and the external source seemed to be faltering. At that instant, Piccolo noticed the opportunity.
Now is the time. Gohan, wait for the opening we'll give you so you can attack. Goten, Trunks, follow me on my signal.
Gohan nodded, conveying a look of confidence to his friends. Goten and Trunks prepared to act on Piccolo's directions.
Everyone, let's send our energies to Goku and Vegeta. We must strengthen their connection and weaken Takagami's source of power.
The Z-Warriors gathered their energies and, with a coordinated effort, sent a stream of ki skyward. Goku and Vegeta, sensing the surge of power, seized the opportunity.
They're doing it! Come on, Vegeta!
The connection between Goku, Vegeta, and the Z-Warriors created a unique synergy. Energy flowed through them, strengthening their resolve and weakening Takagami's external source of power.
This can't be happening!
The darkness surrounding Takagami began to dissipate, due to the large amount of energy they were receiving from their friends. Piccolo, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, observing the battle, noticed the opportunity to intervene.
Now, guys, let's go!
Goten and Trunks took flight into the sky where Goku and Vegeta were, joining the fight against Takagami. With the energy of the Z-Warriors strengthening the connection between Goku and Vegeta, the real battle was about to begin. The fusion of powers of the Saiyans between father and son created an explosion of energy that enveloped Takagami. The fight intensified, but now, with hope and determination as their allies, Goku, Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks were ready to face the Dark God and free the universe from his evil domain. The burst of energy that enveloped Takagami reverberated throughout the universe. The fusion of the powers of Goku, Vegeta, and his sons created a symphony of forces, illuminating the sky with a brilliant radiance that defied the darkness Takagami had tried to impose. Takagami, enveloped in the luminescence of the combined energy, struggled to maintain his composure. The connection between his power and the source of his power, Yamcha, was weakening with every second, and his sinister laugh began to turn into growls of frustration.
We're making progress, Vegeta!
Yes, but let's not let our guard down. It's not over.
As the Saiyans continued their coordinated offensive, Goten and Trunks and their Super Saiyan forms joined the battle. The pressure on Takagami intensified, as he now faced not only the two adult Saiyans, but also that of his sons. The coordination between them was impressive, and every move was backed by the combined strength of the Z-Warriors.
Dad! Vegeta! We're here to help! Let's show this guy that the Saiyan family is unstoppable!
The trio of Saiyans, with their different levels of expertise and abilities, formed a united front against Takagami. The battle was getting more and more intense, with bursts of energy and flurries of attacks lighting up space like a celestial spectacle. Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, and the others channeled their energies to strengthen the connection between the Saiyans and, at the same time, searched for weaknesses in Takagami's defense.
We must keep the pressure on and look for any opportunity to unbalance Takagami.
Dad! Vegeta! Goten! Trunks! We all trust you! Let's defeat this enemy together!
In space, the synergy between the Saiyans reached its peak. Goku and Vegeta, with the energy of their sons and the Z-Warriors, fused their attacks in an amazing display of power. Takagami, despite his resistance, began to give ground.
This is not possible! I'm a god! I cannot be defeated!
The connection between his power and the external source was on the verge of collapse. The Saiyans, sensing Takagami's weakness, redoubled their efforts. Goten, Trunks, guided by Piccolo's strategy, attacked from unexpected angles, while Goku and Vegeta continued their frontal assault. Piccolo noticed a key opportunity.
Now, Gohan, it's your time!
Gohan, in his final form ready to take advantage of the opportunity, concentrated his energy and launched himself into the confrontation. With surprising speed, he joined the fight alongside Goku, Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks.
Let's finish this, Dad!
The symphony of energy between the Z-Warriors and the Saiyans reached its climax. Takagami, beset on all sides, struggled to stand, and the skies erupted in an explosion of light and darkness as the heroes joined forces to confront the Dark God. The battle reached its climax, and every move decided the fate of the universe. The Z-Warriors from Earth watched with eagerness and hope, knowing that victory was within reach, but also aware that the final fight was yet to come. With the Saiyans and the Z-Warriors facing Takagami in a cosmic confrontation, However, amidst the chaos of battle, a small distraction allowed Takagami to strike back with furiosity. Goten and Trunks, focused on following Piccolo's strategy, attacked from different angles. However, in a moment of minimal distraction, Takagami seized the opportunity and launched a surprise counterattack. With quick and precise movements, the Dark God managed to evade Goten and Trunks' attacks, countering them with punches and energy blasts.
Ha ha ha! Your efforts are useless, children! I'm the all-consuming darkness!
Goten and Trunks, though agile and powerful, found themselves in a precarious situation. Takagami, with his speed and cunning, left the young Saiyans struggling to keep up.
We have to protect them!
Takagami's concentration of power is increasing. We need to regroup and find a strategy to counter his moves.
Meanwhile, in the sky, Goten and Trunks, despite the setbacks, continued to fight bravely. They tried to coordinate their attacks, but Takagami's speed and cunning proved to be a formidable challenge.
Trunks, we have to stay focused!
I know, but this guy's stronger than I imagined! In an unexpected twist, Takagami launched a blast of dark energy that hit Goten and Trunks, leaving them badly injured. Both Saiyans fell backwards with obvious signs of exhaustion and pain.
Goten! Trunks!
This damned Dark God!
The adult Saiyans intensified their assault, determined to avenge their momentary fall of their sons. Takagami, however, taking advantage of the confusion and despair that gripped the Z warriors, rejoiced in his newly strengthened power.
This is how the heroes of the universe give up. They may fight, but in the end, darkness will always prevail.
The result was becoming even more tense. The Z warriors, though determined, were facing the reality that their fight was far from over. Goten and Trunks, wounded but not defeated, were struggling to recover and rejoin the battle.
We need a new approach. Takagami's strength increases with each passing moment.
We'll protect Goten and Trunks. We'll not let the darkness prevail.
The battle, now more critical than ever, was plunging into a desperate confrontation where the survival of the universe hung in the balance. Gohan, observing the critical situation of his brother Goten and Trunks, could not contain the fury that burned within him. A flash of anger crossed his eyes, and his energy rose to levels that would leave even the most experienced Saiyans dumbfounded. He lunged towards Takagami with shocking speed, ignoring any concern for his own safety.
With this price, you'll pay for hurting my family!
His speed and furiosity impressed everyone on the battlefield. Every blow he delivered carried with it a pent-up rage of a protective brother. Takagami, though initially surprised, adapted to the intensity of Gohan's attacks.
Do you think your anger can stop me?
I'm going to protect my family and the entire universe from your darkness!
The battle between Gohan and Takagami unleashed an energy storm in space. Goku and Vegeta watched in awe and fear as the conflict reached levels that defied comprehension. Despite their determination, they realized they were facing a power beyond anything they had faced before.
This kid, his power is amazing!
We can't let Gohan fight alone. We must support him.
As Gohan continued his relentless assault, Takagami showed a significant improvement in his defensive ability. Every blow was met with inhuman prowess. The battle reached a point where the universe itself seemed to be on the verge of collapse. The epic confrontation between Gohan and Takagami pushed the Saiyan warrior to the limit of his abilities. Despite Gohan's bravery and skill, the Dark God, with unmatched cunning and speed, found an opening in his defense. With a graceful twist, Takagami unleashed a ripping attack, a blast of dark energy that sliced through the air with a malevolent precision. Gohan, surprised by the speed and ferocity of the attack, barely had time to react. The energy wave hit Gohan full on, enveloping him in an explosion of light and darkness. The force of the impact threw Goku's eldest son backwards, causing him to stagger, desperately struggling to stay on his feet. The dark energy left its mark on Gohan's body, marking him with deep, tearing wounds.
Ah! This can't be so strong!
Takagami, with a sinister smile, hovered in the air, observing the result of his devastating attack. The black energy around him seemed to vibrate with satisfaction as Gohan tried to recover.
This is the power you praise so much? You're no match for me, Gohan.
Goku and Vegeta, witnessing the scene from a distance, gritted their teeth helplessly. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment. Goten and Trunks, still injured but recovering, were prepared to rejoin the fight. Gohan!
This damned. We can't let this continue.
Goten and Trunks, sensing the urgency of the situation, approached Gohan to help him. Despite his own injuries, determination shone in his eyes. Brother, are you alright? Yes, but we need a new approach. We're not going to let this guy get away with this. Meanwhile, Piccolo and the other Z Warriors were also assessing the situation, looking for any opportunity to change the course of the battle. The pressure on them was mounting, and the need to find an effective strategy was becoming more apparent. We have to work together. Gohan, can you keep fighting? Gohan nodded, ignoring the pain coursing through his body. His determination had not dulled, on the contrary. Takagami's imminent threat stoked it. I can't give up, but we need a strategy, something that could surprise him.
Surprise him, you say?
As the Z Warriors immersed themselves in strategy to counter Takagami, a small distraction took over the battlefield. Goten and Trunks, aware of the need of a different approach, exchanged determined glances. Without saying a word, they assumed the familiar fusion dance stance. The other warriors, immersed in their tactics, barely noticed the sudden disappearance of Goten and Trunks as they performed the fusion. The energy around them condensed into a brilliant flash that revealed Gotenks, Super Saiyan, the powerful fusion of the two young Saiyans. Ready to give this guy a surprise! With impressive speed, Gotenks launched himself towards Takagami, who was momentarily startled by the new presence on the battlefield. Gotenks, with his characteristic air of self-sufficiency, began to unleash a series of swift and agile attacks, challenging the Dark God with renewed energy. Here I come! Takagami, however, far from being intimidated, smiled sinisterly. With a casual gesture, he deflected Gotenks' attacks as if toying with him.
Is that all you've got, you little fused insect?
Gotenks persisted, intensifying his attacks, trying to find an opening in Takagami's defense. However, the Dark God, with a graceful move, countered each blow with ease. Come on! It can't be! In the moment of distraction, Takagami took advantage of the situation. With impressive speed, he launched a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gotenks before he could react. The resulting explosion threw Gotenks backwards, knocking him to the ground unconscious and disfigured. Gotenks!
This is worse than we thought.
Takagami, now more confident of his superiority, hovered in the air, glaring at the defeated warriors. Goten and Trunks, still unconscious, lay on the ground as Takagami revealed in his moment of victory.
Ha 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 ha! Is this all you offer, Z Warriors? Your desperation only increases my power.
With the outlook darkened by Gotenks' momentary defeat, attention turned to Gohan, who, badly wounded but driven by an inner strength, began to radiate intense energy. The pain in his body seemed to fuel his determination, and a wild golden glow enveloped as his ki reached never-before-seen levels. In the blink of an eye, Gohan transformed into Super Saiyan Phase 3, a form of awesome power that surprised even Takagami. Gohan's hair grew out of control, his muscles swelled, and his expression reflected a mixture of pain and fierce determination.
What is this? A new trick?
Gohan, with a wild roar, launched himself towards Takagami with shocking speed. The force of his blows and the intensity of his attacks shook the battlefield, creating a storm of energy around him. The conflict between light and darkness took on a new dimension as Gohan challenged the limits of his own power. You're going to pay for what you've done! The confrontation between Gohan in his Super Saiyan Phase 3 form and Takagami marked a drastic change in the intensity of the battle. The skies, previously serene, witness of the confrontation, darkened with the energy unleashed by both combatants. And each blow resounded like thunder in the vast and silent cosmic space, defying the tranquility of the stars watching from a distance. The explosions of energy briefly illuminated the darkness, creating a chaotic and majestic spectacle at the same time. The flashes of light and shadow intertwined in a frantic dance that reflected the ferocity of the combat. The shockwaves spread out in the distance, distorting space itself and recalling the magnitude of the power unleashed on that battlefield. Each movement was a ballet of strength and dexterity, with Gohan and Takagami challenging each other in a battle that transcended the physical, entering the realms of the mystical and the epic. Their cries of determination were lost amid the din of battle, but their spirits echoed in every exchange of blows, making it clear that this confrontation was not just for dominance or survival, but for the legacy of their lineages and the protection of their worlds. Gohan, his eyes shining with an indomitable determination, channeled all his power in every movement, leaving a trail of energy that shimmered with a force that defied the limits of the unimaginable. His taut muscles, his golden aura glowing with intensity, made him an unstoppable force that sought justice and protection for all those he loved and defended. "You will not escape my justice, Takagami! My determination's like an unbreakable torrent that'll sweep away any darkness you try to sow. Every blow I throw carries with it the strength of all those I protect and defend. I'll not rest until the truth shines on every shadow you've woven with your deceptions. Get ready to face the justice I bring." Gohan roared with fiery fury, his voice echoing across the battlefield like an echo of the very protective will drive him. Every blow he threw carried with it the emotional burden of years of struggle and sacrifice, the determination of a hero willing to do anything for the well-being of his world and his loved ones. On the other hand, Takagami, with his characteristic agility and calculated cunning, dodged Gohan's attacks with fluid and precise movements. His cold and calculating gaze contrasted with the ferocity of the Saiyan, unveiling an enemy who did not underestimate the threat he faced.
Interesting. I see that the power of the Saiyan pride still burns deep in your being, Gohan, but let me tell you this. However intense it may be, will not be enough to defy the chains of your inevitable fate.
Between each exchange of blows and dodges, the battlefield turned into an epic scenario where two titans collided, not only with their bodies, but with their convictions and purposes. The fate of both was intertwined in a deadly dance where determination, skill, and strength merged in a conflict that transcended the physical and went deep into their warrior souls. The clash of energies was so intense that the Z warriors felt the pressure and overwhelming weight of the unfolding confrontation. The magnitude of the conflict resonated in every corner of the known universe, like an echo of power that transcended planetary barriers and penetrated the very heart of those who were fighting for survival and justice. The fluctuations in ki were palpable, even to those watching from a distance, like a symphony of opposing forces colliding in a chaotic but harmonious dance. Every member of the Z Warriors could feel the electricity in the air, the tension that preceded every strategic move and every heartbreaking blow. The earth trembled under the influence of the unleashed energy, as if the world itself was responding to the duel of titans being waged on its surface. The skies darkened even more, as if the universe itself was holding its breath at the magnificence and terror of that epic contest. In those moments of crisis, the Z Warriors' determination grew even stronger, fueled by the urgency to protect what they loved and to face any adversity with courage and conviction. It was a reminder that during chaos and destruction, the human spirit could shine with an unshakable light. Piccolo, with his strategic mind sharper as a razor, watched every move with meticulous attention. Every gesture, every spark of unleashed energy carried with it the promise of a decisive change during the battle. His intense and serene gaze concealed a precise calculation as he searched for the perfect opportunity to intervene in support of his disciple. Piccolo, with his gaze lost on the horizon as he pondered the situation deeply, added in a calm but determined voice,
Gohan is channeling an incredible power right now. If we manage to amplify their energy and coordinate a joint attack, we could tip the scales in our favor and find the opportunity we need to change the course of this battle.
His mind worked like a meticulous clock, evaluating possibilities and strategies during the chaos that was unleashed in front of him. Meanwhile, at the epicenter of the conflict, Gohan and Takagami continued their titanic duel, each determined to impose their will and determination on the other. Gohan's transformation into Super Saiyan Stage 3 not only gave him enormous strength, but also imposed a demanding tribute in terms of energy and physical endurance. Gohan, his breathing agitated by the effort and intensity of the moment, expressed with determination in his voice between short breaths, "His power! It's overwhelming! But I must stand firm! I can't fail!" Every word resonated with an unwavering commitment as he prepared to face the ordeal ahead of her, his aura glowing with a mixture of exhaustion and relentless resolve. His spirit stood like a burning flame during the storm, braving adversities with a determination that sprang from the core of his being. On the other hand, Takagami, with his arrogant smile and calculated movements, responded to every attack of Gohan with an inordinate confidence in his own dexterity and power. Takagami, with a voice imbued with superiority and a tone that denoted his absolute confidence in his words, defiantly replied,
Admiral, but naive. Your determination's remarkable, Gohan, but you must understand that no force in this universe can change your destiny.
His voice resonated with an assurance that seemed to defy all opposition, marking a gap between confidence in his power and Gohan's will. His self-assurance was impenetrable as the toughest steel, a psychological barrier that defied even the storms of energy roaring around him. The confrontation was coming to a head as the Z Warriors, with a mixture of worry and palpable hope in their hearts, prepared to intervene at the precise moment that could change the course of the battle. Vegeta, with his intense and analytical gaze, watched every flash of power unleashed by Gohan with a mixture of admiration and concern in his eyes. Vegeta, with his analytical and sharp mind, was muttering to himself in a barely audible tone due to the palpable tension in the air.
Gohan's unleashing an incredible power.
His words were a whisper, charged with respect and concern, acknowledging the magnitude of the power that Gohan was unleashing at that critical moment.
But he must maintain control if he wants to survive this,
he added with a seriousness that reflected his experience in past battles and his understanding of the dangers of losing control over so much unleashed energy. Goku, the legendary warrior who knows the limits and beyond, nodded solemnly at Vegeta's words. Goku, with a calmness that radiated experience and wisdom, recognized with respect in his voice, "We know what it's like to fight at the limit, but Gohan's showing exceptional courage that inspires us all." His words resonated with the depth of one who has faced countless challenges, understanding the nature of struggle and the sacrifice it entails. With admiration palpable in his tone, recognizing the courage and determination of his son during adversity, his voice, serene but full of respect, reflected the confidence in Gohan's potential to overcome any obstacle. Meanwhile, the energy flowing through Gohan was reaching its peak, manifesting itself in an impressive visual spectacle. Its golden aura radiated an intense light that illuminated the surrounding space, making even the distant stars seem to pale in comparison. Gohan, with a roar full of determination that echoed throughout the battlefield, exclaimed with fervor, addressed to his father and Vegeta, "Father! Vegeta! All of you! This power is to protect you all!" His voice carried with an emotional charge of his commitment to the protection of his loved ones, a promise that manifested itself in every flash of his glowing aura, and in every blow aimed at the darkness that threatened his world. His voice, echoing like an echo of hope amid the chaos of battle, his energy, instead of just being destructive, became a beacon of hope for his allies, instilling strength and determination in their hearts. The buildup of energy finally reached its peak when Gohan unleashed a combined attack so powerful that it seemed to tear the very fabric of space. The surprise on Takagami's face was palpable, reflecting the magnitude of the force unleashed by the young Saiyan.
Impossible! I can't believe the magnitude of your strength, Gohan! You've unweakened a power that defies all my expectations and strategies so far. But you haven't witnessed everything I can do yet. My abilities are not limited to what you've witnessed so far. And I still have cards to play in this game. Get ready to find out that I'm not as easy an opponent to defeat. The true essence of my power is about to be revealed, and I assure you that it'll surprise you. The battle's only just begun, young Saiyan.
The resulting explosion temporarily blinded everyone present, enveloping the battlefield in a dazzling light that eclipsed even the brightest stars in the firmament. As the luminescence slowly faded away, it revealed an impressive but also disturbing scene. Gohan, still in his Super Saiyan Stage 3 form, was still standing, his figure slender but visibly exhausted at the limit of his strength. "What? Was that enough?" He was panting between short breaths, his eyes reflecting a determination that defied the fatigue that overwhelmed him. but Takagami emerged from the rubble with a defiant smile on his face, was making it clear that the battle was far from over.
You're barely scratching the surface, Gohan. Your power is awesome, but you can't beat the darkness that is hanging over you. Your determination's commendable, but the real battle is beyond what you can imagine. My shadows are deeper, and my power is vaster than you think. Get ready to face the true essence of the dark power.
Gohan's energy was fluctuating, a clear sign that his transformation was reaching its limit. The Z warriors watched with anxiety and determination as the battle reached a critical point. Victory seemed elusive, but their fighting spirit remained unwavering in the darkness that threatened to devour them all.
No! I can't give up this power! It's to protect everyone! To my family! To the earth!
Each word came out between agitated breaths, but charged with an unwavering determination, revealing the deep sense of responsibility and love that drove their struggle. His voice, though weakened by the effort, resounded with a firmness that defined the adversities he faced.
Oh, what a pathetic nobility! Do you think you can fight my darkness with simple desires for protection? Your strength is impressive, but your naivety condemns you. Don't you understand that in this world, nobility and desires for protection are as fragile as glass in front of the tide? No matter how much power you possess, the darkness will always find a crack through which to infiltrate and corrupt everything you value. It's only a matter of time before you realize the futility of your efforts, Gohan.
Gohan, his aura flickering, braced himself for another assault, feeling every fiber of his being burning with determination. However, the accumulated fatigue and the marked wounds on his skin were beginning to take their toll, weighing like chains on his struggle. Every move was a battle against exhaustion and pain, a test of endurance that tested his courage and perseverance. The vision of Takagami, his implacable enemy, distorted slightly before his fatigued eyes, reflecting not only the tumult of the physical battle, but also the dark and twisted connection Takagami maintained with the source of power that fed him. This connection, like a cursed bond, gave Takagami a ruthless strength, but also dragged him into the maelstrom of corruption and out of control. During the fray, Gohan found himself facing not only a formidable opponent, but also the shadow of an evil influence that threatened to consume everything. Every blow thrown and blocked resonated with the intensity of an epic battle between light and darkness, between the determination of a hero and the seduction of a dark and forbidden power. Despite the adversities and uncertainty that surrounded him, Gohan clung to hope like the beacon in a storm, remembering the bonds of friendship and love that drove him to move forward. Every beat of his heart resonated with the will to protect what he valued most in the world, facing the challenge with courage and sacrifice, knowing that true strength lay in his indomitable spirit and in his determination to never give up in the face of the darkness that threatened his world and soul.
Gohan, don't wear yourself out too much. Stay focused and in control. Remember, that true strength lies not only in raw power, but in the ability to stay calm and think strategically amid chaos. Do not underestimate your opponent, and do not get carried away by blind rage. That determination must be backed by intelligence and control. Make every hit count, and don't get distracted from your goal.
His words, full of advice and warnings, sought to remind Gohan of the importance of the mind in battle, in addition to physical strength.
The Super Saiyan Phase 3 form consumes a lot of energy. Gohan needs to find a balance between his power and his stamina. He must learn to control the flow of his ki to maintain his strength without exhausting himself quickly. The key is efficiency. Every movement must be precisely calculated and executed to maximize the impact without wasting energy. It's a challenge to master this state, but if Gohan manages to find that harmony, his potential will be truly formidable.
His words, full of experience and knowledge, sought to guide Gohan towards a better understanding of how to use his power without compromising his endurance in battle. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.
Psycho evil.